this is Stephanie Hansen, and you're listening to The Makers in Minnesota, where we talk to cool people doing cool things. And I have Mary Leonard on the line, and she is the owner and the chocolatier at Chocolat Celeste. And Mary, you and I talked, boy, I think it's almost like a year and a half now, about starting Chocolat Celeste. And I bet you never thought you'd be selling chocolates curbside.
No, I didn't, but I really do like selling chocolates curbside.
I bet you
It's
get to
wonderful.
see people. Yeah. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Well, actually, we have options on our website that are both for mailing chocolates and for curbside service. And so there is an option right under shop that says curbside. And I have created and plan to continue to create new things under the curbside option, because I know people are living a little bit different lifestyle now, and they might want something that is lower cost as well, and also just for more variety. So the first curbside thing I created were boozy chocolates, and that went really, really well.
I
And
bet.
It's continued to be on there too. And in the past, I have to admit I wouldn't have made something boozy because I thought I was too classy, but it worked, and I'm really happy with the collection. That's the boozy. And today I sold seconds, which I never put them on my website before, and it was a big rush all day today. But as I was thinking about things like today there's not going to be a state fair,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what kinds of things I can put on a stick that are chocolate.
I think it's a great idea. People are going to be looking for alternatives.
Yeah. And I'm going to be also looking at this today. Tomorrow at home, I'm going to be testing homemade marshmallow. And I haven't made that in a long time. That's why I'm trying it at home first. And then I think I'm going to do some sort of alternative more that people can buy at curbside and come over and get it. And then they don't have to worry about, they can just have s'mores at home and without having to have the fire and get together with other people or anything else.
Right.
So I'm happy about that. And of course, I created a breast cancer chocolate.
Let's talk about that, because you have been diagnosed with breast cancer right before Mother's Day. And I have to wonder, it's hard enough diagnosis to have, yet to have it in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. What was that like?
Well, I actually, it was okay. I think that was really, I had the surgery right after Valentine's Day, and I was a little concerned about finances then, because right after Valentine's Day is Lent, and there was literally no business at Lent. Everyone gives up chocolate. But then the COVID-19 happened, and then I was able to create a new thing, and it kind of, it was a buffer to what could have happened. And so that's optimistic in that way, but I know that won't continue. So what I did for myself right at that time, where it was beginning of Lent, I went to look for help financially from the Hope Test for Breast Cancer. And it's a local organization that provides grants to people with breast cancer, and they're immediate funds. And I really mean immediate. They're not huge funds, but they're, a boost up. They pay for a house payment, or they pay your utilities, or they pay for your groceries. And I applied for that, and within 3 days, I had $750, which was half of my house payment. And I was so impressed with them. And I had also met the founder. I met her like 20 years ago. And I met her, and she was talking about her two sisters that both died of breast cancer, and she started this because of it. And, it crossed my mind that, there were other people in my family that had breast cancer, and I always had a mammogram, and nothing ever happened. But my grandfather died of breast cancer, my aunt did, and what precipitated me to go faster this year with getting into the mammogram was that my sister was diagnosed in December.
Wow. So you and your sister are having breast cancer at the same time?
Yes.
Wow.
And she chose to have a double mastectomy, but I chose to have a double lumpectomy. And I just am grateful that, she called me, and I'm grateful that I was able to, get in quickly, and I'm grateful that I was assertive with getting appointments. They wanted to put me out a couple weeks, and I said, no, do you have something sooner? And they said, we have something this afternoon. And I said, I'll be there. And then
Right.
they wanted, and then the next day they called me back, and they said, well, there's something next week for the biopsy. I said, no. And I said, what's your next appointment? So, and I had the first appointment that the surgeon had available too. And so it's all gone then, but then there was the slowdown because of COVID-19.
Right. And you still had to produce and make chocolate during that time.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And was that physically challenging? How hard is it to make chocolate?
Well, right now I have a very good employee that's been here for 7.5 years. So I take care of all the technical things associated with it, making sure it's tempered right. But the physical nature of sending them down the machine, I don't do that. We have a conveyor belt system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do as much of that as I did before. But I did do a lot of it at the beginning of COVID-19. And I did find that my incisions hurt at the end of the day. And there's something called zaps or zingers.
Yeah.
And I would have nerve pain, and suddenly I'd jump and go, oh, feel that. And so those were the difficult things, but I kind of, I stepped back to maybe where I should have been before and worked more on creating new things. And that's where, I'm at. There are days, every day, I make sure that the chocolate is tempered right, and that I'm thinking of things, and I'm tasting to make sure things are right. And I'm really teaching Kay to be in my place if I get really sick. And that will come, but it hasn't come yet.
Yeah. And you might be surprised that you're capable of more than you think. I think that was my experience, but everybody's different. Mm-hmm. I do like this co-promotion that you're doing with Hope Chest for breast cancer. How long will that last, or did you make just a batch, or will it be ongoing? How can people get those chocolates?
It will be ongoing. We have some available to sell now. I'd like to sell at least 30 boxes in the next 2 weeks. And then after that, it will be a curbside option for over the summer, but we can ship. But if someone wants to send it overnight, then we can ship it. But then I'm going to do a big promotion of it again during Breast Cancer Month, which is October. And it is my hope that I would sell 600 boxes, which would be that I would give them $15,000.
That's great.
And I've already given them over 1,000. And I know that there's so many other people that need this, especially now during COVID-19, the number of people that have lost their jobs. And, everyone has to get treatment, and they have to survive this. And Hope Chest is a great organization.
Yeah, it sure is. As you look ahead, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time now. Are you feeling impressed at the localness that people are feeling, and the idea of shopping locally? Really seems like people have looked inward to their community for shopping and for buying things again. Have you been feeling that?
I have been feeling that. And I've been also feeling really, really grateful to, on Facebook, the neighborhood groups that have allowed me to post and tell about my chocolates, which before it was always hard and fast. There was Small Business Monday, and you never went outside of Small Business Monday, and now I can post any day. And so I'm doing a lot more social media than I did before, but more and more local people are really, stepping up and coming in, and the regulars that I had for years are all coming in. And it's really impressive, and I think that I certainly hope it continues. I'm worried that it might not once people go back to work and everything, seems the same. But still it's not. Restaurants and food places really still have not recovered.
Yeah.
And I need, to continue to have sales, because the summer is normally not, but, I'm going to be having the same expenses plus my medical expenses. And, the people in restaurants are, they've gone on far longer than I have without funds. And so, yeah, it's really important. And I also try not to buy from big organizations anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
I have been more conscientious than ever before. And I was always pretty conscientious, but I would get my Amazon fix because it was quick or it was easy or I could
Hmm.
just tap and
Yeah.
tap. And I feel like I'm
Hmm.
being a lot more mindful now. We ordered your
Yeah.
chocolates at Easter time for my daughter
Hmm.
and my mother-in-law, and they're always fantastic.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I feel it too, and I even go to a different grocery store now. I go to more of a neighborhood grocery store than I go to the big chains. It also is important for me because I don't want to be around a lot of people. And some of the places I've gone that are large places, it's just ugly and stressful.
Right, right.
So yeah, and I don't need that right now at all.
Yeah, you
Although
just,
I do want to say to that, I do feel better than I did before I had cancer. Right now I do, because I had been anemic for so long that I didn't know that there was really something wrong. And so they've given me iron infusions and other things that, I couldn't just say anything but wonderful things about Park Nicollet and my doctor.
oh, that's so great. I'm glad to hear it. And
Mhm.
Mary, thanks for catching us up on what you're doing. I will release this call next Friday.
Okay.
And people are going to be excited to hear from you. So I'm glad that you're still making all the chocolate happen over at Chocolat Celeste. Thanks for being our guest today.
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
letting me
Mary.
be
Yeah,
on. All right.
absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.